So now we will learn a few navigation techniques. To navigate around big data sets, it's important to remember these shortcuts given at your right. Let's start trying them together. To move around in a consecutive data set from the very beginning to the very end, you need to press the CTRL key along with your navigation arrow keys. So if I want to move from this cell to this cell, I will press CTRL and the right arrow key, and you can see we have moved in one go. Now to go back to this cell, I will press CTRL and the left arrow key. To move down, I will press CTRL and the downward arrow key, and then the upward arrow key, and so on. So you can navigate your way through this consecutive data set. To select the cells without touching your mouse, you need to press the shift key and your navigation arrow keys. So I will press shift and the right arrow key to select these two cells. I will press the right arrow key again to select these three cells. Now if I press the downward arrow key while pressing shift, we will further select the next row like this. To select this entire range consecutively, we will use CTRL and shift together with your navigation arrow keys. So I will press CTRL plus shift plus the right arrow key to select this row in one go like this, and then I will press CTRL plus shift plus the downward arrow key to select the entire grid like this in one go. So this technique is useful for larger data sets where it's difficult to manually select hundreds of rows and columns. But remember that this movement ends where the dataset is not consecutive. Now let's try making a few more columns over here and see the effect. Okay, so now we are done making more columns. Now let's use the CTRL and arrow keys again. I'm pressing CTRL and the forward arrow key. You can see that we are still moving around in this consecutive dataset and not jumping across this. When I use CTRL and the forward arrow key in this consecutive dataset, it's allowing me to move only over here. So to move and jump in this section, I will have to press the forward arrow keys a few more times. So when I have to select this all, I will be pressing CTRL plus shift plus the forward arrow key once, twice and thrice, and then the downward arrow key once to select the entire data. When the same data set is consecutive, I just have to press CTRL and shift and the right arrow key once and the downward arrow key once to select the entire set in one go. So these shortcuts are very important. Now let's move on to copying, cutting and pasting. You can either copy, cut and paste your cells through these options given in the ribbon over here: cut, copy and paste. Let's try cutting this cell. So I have my cursor over here. This is the active cell. Let's cut it and then paste it in this cell like this. If I want to copy this, I will simply select copy and paste. Another way of doing this is to right click on the cell which you need to copy, cut or paste, and this drop down menu has these options. To copy, cut and paste the entire range, you can select your ranges manually, or as we have done through these navigation shortcuts. So now let's select this entire range and use these shortcuts for copying, cutting and pasting instead. These are easy to use once you remember them, because using the mouse continuously when you are dealing with large data is slightly inconvenient. So let's press CTRL, Shift and the forward arrow key, the downward arrow key. Now I have selected this entire range. To copy this, I will press CTRL plus C and then I will move down CTRL plus V. So I have copied the entire dataset and pasted it over here. Instead, if I wanted to cut and paste this, I would again select it through CTRL plus Shift plus the navigation keys. Then I would press CTRL X, move down and press CTRL V to paste it. The next few lectures will build upon this initial information, so go through this, open Excel and practice